It was on the road to Damascus that heaven stopped a man in his tracks. Saul, a persecutor of light, was intercepted by divine fire because destiny would not allow him to keep walking in the wrong direction. Chosen one, this same interruption is happening to you now. This is not coincidence. Heaven is halting your scroll the way it halted Saul's steps because there are some paths you cannot continue walking. Some patterns you cannot carry into your next season. Listen carefully. Heaven has paused everything around you. You did not stumble upon this message by chance. Every sound that reaches your ears, every word that pierces your heart right now, is divinely timed. The Spirit is whispering, stop. Look. Listen. There are moments when God does not wait for your consent to intervene. He simply steps in. This is one of them. The ancient words recorded in the book of Acts, chapter 9, verse 3 say, as he neared Damascus on his journey, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. That light was not meant to destroy Saul. It was meant to awaken him. The same blinding revelation is descending upon your spirit right now. You may feel shaken, confused, even unworthy, but heaven's interruption is mercy in disguise. When God stops you, it's not rejection. It's redirection. Beloved chosen one, you have been walking through days where your strength felt drained, where your prayers seemed to echo into silence. But I tell you, heaven never forgot your name. You were never out of sight. You were being aligned for this exact encounter. The shaking you feel is not punishment, it's the sound of your chains breaking. Pause for a moment and breathe. You've been surviving, not living. You've been busy, not fruitful. You've been scrolling through countless distractions while your spirit quietly screamed for purpose. But now, heaven interrupts your motion to restore your direction. This is not just another video. This is a divine appointment. You are Saul on the road to Damascus. The light that just struck your spirit is the same light that transformed him into Paul the Apostle who shook nations. Heaven is not asking you to be perfect. Heaven is commanding you to respond. When the divine light finds you, you either surrender or stumble into blindness. There is no neutral ground. So hear me, this interruption is love disguised as confrontation. Heaven has been watching you drift toward compromise, toward distraction, toward self-sabotage. But mercy said, not this one, not today. The angels whispered your name before the throne, and God sent this message to call you back. Stop running from what you were born to carry. You have been chosen to be a vessel of fire, not a spectator of faith. Every tear you've shed in secret, every battle you fought alone, heaven saw them all. And now, heaven says, enough wandering. You've reached the turning point. It's time to awaken. It's time to realign. It's time to surrender. The same God who turned Saul's blindness into vision is about to turn your confusion into clarity. The light that blinded him gave him purpose. The fall that humbled him raised him higher than pride ever could. The same transformation waits for you right here, right now. So as you hear these words, respond. Lift your eyes from the noise and listen to the still, powerful whisper calling your name. This is your Damascus moment. You can feel it, the trembling in your chest, the stirring in your soul, the certainty that this message is not ordinary when it's heaven calling you by name. Pause this video for just a second. Place your hand on your heart and say, I hear you. Lord, feel the weight of that confession. Heaven records every whisper of obedience, and when this message ends, don't disappear in silence. Declare your alignment, like, share, and comment, I hear you. Lord, as a prophetic act of agreement, because every click, every word becomes a public declaration that you heard the call and answered it. If this message speaks to your spirit, subscribe and sow into what heaven is building here. When you donate, you aren't supporting content, you're fueling revival. Beloved, your whole future depends on this pause. Saul's destiny began the moment heaven interrupted him. Yours begins now. The same light that found him has found you. Comment 777 below if you receive this as your Damascus moment, the number of divine completion and perfect awakening. The heavens are watching who answers. Your yes echoes louder than fear. Every moment of hesitation ends. Now rise, chosen one, and walk toward your divine assignment without delay. Grace is reaching for you again. Let this be your turning point. Destiny knocks once. Open wide your heart and let heaven rewrite the story your pain tried to erase. Beloved chosen one, before you rush into another day, heaven gives a sacred instruction stop. Right here, right now, not later, not when you feel ready now. There are moments when divine wisdom does not tell you to move, but to be still. Saul's journey to Damascus was interrupted because he was walking fast in the wrong direction. You, too, have been busy, so busy trying to prove, to heal, to fix, that you've forgotten the sound of stillness. Heaven whispers pause. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 6, verse 16. Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is and walk in it, and you will find rest for your souls. This is that moment, the crossroads, the pause between who you've been and who you're becoming, the stillness where heaven breathes new life into tired lungs. Right now, wherever you are, obey this divine instruction. Set your phone down, close your eyes, let the world keep spinning but you, chosen one. Stop for 30 seconds. Let your heart beat slow. Let your shoulders fall. Let heaven speak. This is not a performance, this is holy ground. Stillness is the posture of those who listen. You've been asking God for answers, but you filled every silence with noise. Heaven doesn't shout, it waits. It waits for the moment when you finally stop long enough to hear the whisper beneath the chaos. Do it now. Stop. Don't rush this moment. Don't skip ahead. Give heaven space to touch you. 30 seconds of stillness can realign decades of wandering. Silence is not the absence of activity. It's the activation of awareness. In stillness, the soul remembers what the noise made you forget. You remember who you are. You remember whose you are. The presence of God is not distant. It's right here, hovering like light over the waters, waiting for permission to enter the chaos and bring order. That permission begins with one act: stopping. You've mistaken movement for progress, but heaven measures growth by surrender. You've been running toward everything except peace, but now peace is running toward you. The wind of the Spirit moves quietly through the space you just opened by stopping. Take another deep breath. Let the tension slip away. This is not wasted time, this is divine time. The angels have paused with you. Heaven has silenced the noise around you to let revelation rise within you. Hear the whisper, be still, I am with you. This is the language of heaven: quiet power, steady strength. The devil wants you frantic because he fears your stillness. He knows peace restores authority. When you stop, you step back into alignment. When you rest, you reclaim your throne. Beloved, this is what obedience looks like: not running faster, but listening deeper. God is not moved by your speed. He is moved by your surrender. Every time you choose to stop instead of striving, you declare trust. You say to heaven, you lead, I'll follow. The practice of stopping must become your daily rhythm. When anxiety rises, stop. When doubt screams, stop. When confusion clouds your heart, stop. Breathe. Whisper his name. Wait until peace speaks back. The presence that met Saul on that dusty road is the same presence filling your room right now. It doesn't need sound, lights, or words, it just needs your attention. The stillness you feel is not emptiness, it's presence. You will begin to notice something shift inside of you. The noise will lessen. The fear will fade. Your spirit will start to see through the fog. This is the result of obedience to a simple command stop. Heaven never calls you to stop to punish you. It calls you to stop to preserve you. God halts motion that leads to exhaustion so he can reroute you toward destiny. Saul's pause became his rebirth. Yours will too. When you stop, you are telling heaven, I'm available. When you stop, you are saying, I trust your timing more than mine. When you stop, you are allowing God to step ahead and clear the path before you move again. This sacred act of stillness is your weapon. In a world addicted to noise, silence becomes rebellion, and heaven always responds to holy rebellion. So look, chosen one, make this your practice from this day forward every time you feel overwhelmed. Stop for 30 to 60 seconds. Don't think, don't scroll, don't fix, just stop and breathe. That single act of obedience will open more doors than years of striving. You have just learned heaven's rhythm: pause before progress, stillness before strength, listening before leading. This is how warriors are trained, not in chaos, but in calm. Heaven's final whisper for this moment: be still, for I am already working. Before you were aware of the battle, darkness already recognized your name. Long before you discovered your calling, the enemy sensed your assignment. That's why life has felt heavier for you than for others. Why betrayal cut deeper. Why disappointment lingered longer. Why the attacks seemed personal. Because they were. When Saul walked blind from the light of heaven, the same darkness that once fueled his rage now trembled at his surrender. The moment heaven marks you, hell notices. It always does. The pain you faced was not proof of abandonment. It was evidence of recognition. The Word of God declares in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers, against authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." Chosen one. The real battle has never been between you and people. It has been between your purpose and the powers that fear what happens when you wake up. That's why every time you get closer to peace, something tries to disrupt it. Hell attacks movement that matters. You've wondered, why me? Why so many storms, so much loss, so many unseen wars? Because even when you didn't know who you were, the enemy did. Darkness doesn't waste energy on those without impact. It always targets the dangerous. You are dangerous because you carry light that exposes what has hidden in others for too long. Think back to the moments that almost broke you. The nights you cried quietly, thinking no one cared. Yet even in that pain, something inside you refused to die. That something was purpose fighting back. Heaven never abandoned you. It protected your fire from being extinguished. You carry an anointing that irritates darkness. Your presence disrupts despair. That's why rejection followed you. It wasn't people rejecting you. It was spirits reacting to what you carried. Every closed door was divine shielding, not punishment. Now heaven says, stop fighting shadows. Recognize your authority. When you understand who you are, you stop mistaking spiritual warfare for personal failure. The storm is confirmation, not condemnation. The pressure reveals the power within you. Beloved, the more light you release, the louder the darkness screams. Don't let its noise trick you into fear. The enemy attacks loudest when he's losing ground. If you've been under unusual pressure, it's because your influence is increasing. You've survived enough to prove your resilience. What you thought was an ending was actually an announcement. Heaven has already declared your rise. Hell is just reacting. Don't confuse the sound of warfare with the sound of defeat. The shaking means transformation. Look around, see how patterns have shifted. The people who left were moved by divine choreography. Heaven rearranged your circle to protect your mission. Loneliness or motun, for you, was never abandonment, it was refinement. You can feel it now. You're not the same. The battles that once broke you now build you. You've developed discernment in the fire. You recognize lies faster, recover quicker, no longer beg for clarity, you command it. That is the evidence of growth. That is what makes you terrifying to darkness. You were meant to walk into rooms and shift atmospheres. Heaven didn't choose you because you were flawless. Heaven chose you because you were willing. So breathe. Let the truth settle. You are not cursed, you are called. The enemy tried to end you because he saw what you'd become before you did. Every attack was a prophecy in disguise. You may not realize it, but your scars carry messages. They testify that light always wins. Each wound you healed from became a doorway for others to find freedom. You are not a victim of warfare, you are a weapon forged by it. From this day forward, walk with awareness. Don't fear the darkness that notices you. Let it notice. Let it tremble. Because the moment you walk in identity, every scheme collapses under divine authority. Now, as you hear this, let your spirit rise. Lift your head and straighten your shoulders. Heaven is backing you. You are no longer reacting, you are initiating victories. Your warfare has meaning. Your survival has purpose. The light that nearly got extinguished is now your crown. The same darkness that once mocked you will witness your ascension. Beloved chosen one, what once tried to destroy you will now serve your destiny. The battle over your life was never about destruction, it was about definition. If this word resonates, seal it now. Comment, I stand firm. Write it boldly, not as reaction but revelation. When you type those words, you're telling heaven you understand who you are, unshaken, unmoved, crowned with divine authority. When you comment, I stand firm, you are not typing letters, you are declaring war on fear. You are planting your feet in faith, saying to both heaven and hell, I will not bow, I will not break. Chosen one, you've been wondering why you felt so alone. Why did people fade away? Why did doors close without explanation? Why has silence followed your every step? Heaven answers now, you are in the season of separation. This is not punishment, this is protection. God pulled you away, not because you failed, but because you are being refined. Before every unveiling, there is a withdrawing. Before every public anointing, there is private fire. You were not forgotten. You were hidden for a holy reason. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalm. Chapter 27, verse 5. For in the day of trouble he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in the shelter of his sacred tent and set me high upon a rock. The hiding place is sacred, but it feels heavy, doesn't it? When you're called, isolation doesn't feel like safety, it feels like abandonment. You keep asking, God, where is everyone? And heaven answers, I needed your full attention. You have been in a divine classroom, and silence has been your teacher. Every unanswered call, every friend who drifted away, every closed opportunity, it was all training your discernment. Heaven was pruning you to make sure the noise around you could no longer drown the voice within you. Beloved, Separation is how heaven protects power. Before David became king, he was pulled from the crowd and sent to shepherd in obscurity. Before Moses led a nation, he was hidden in a desert. Before Jesus began his ministry, he withdrew into the wilderness. Do you see the pattern? You're in good company. The wilderness doesn't mean you've lost your way, it means you're being prepared to lead others out of theirs. When you stop fighting isolation and start listening in it, you begin to see what heaven has been forming. You are not behind. You are being built. You thought silence meant stillness, but heaven has been busy behind the veil. The angels have been rearranging the scenery of your life, removing counterfeits, exposing distractions, and protecting you from premature exposure. If God had released you too early, the weight of visibility would have crushed what's still being strengthened inside you. There is a purification happening in your solitude. God is burning away every dependency that made you doubt his sufficiency. You are learning that peace doesn't come from presence of people, but from presence himself. You are learning that comfort is not found in crowds, but in communion. And soon, very soon, this separation will turn into manifestation. The same people who thought you disappeared will see the glow of what heaven has been building in secret. The silence has been birthing your sound. The waiting has been growing your wings. The loneliness has been training your leadership. Do not despise this stage. Do not rush it. What is forming in darkness will shine brighter than anything built in haste. You are being set apart, not set aside. Heaven hides treasures until the right moment to reveal them. And you, beloved, are a treasure. So while you sit in this in-between season, do one thing: trust the process. Stop measuring progress by visibility. Heaven measures growth by obedience. When you stay faithful in the hidden place, you qualify for the open one. You've cried, "Lord, when will it happen?" And heaven replies, "When the fire inside you burns hotter than the desire to be seen." The hidden years are holy years. You are being purified, not punished. Remember, separation always precedes elevation. The wilderness always comes before the promise. So stand firm. Keep your oil burning. Keep worshiping even when no one watches. Heaven is recording every unseen act of obedience. And when the time comes, the shift will be sudden. Overnight, what was private will become public. The world will see what heaven has always known: that you were chosen, refined, and ready. Right now, lift your hands, even if you're alone. Whisper this truth: this isolation is not the end. It's my preparation. Feel that peace filling your chest. That's confirmation. The hiding place has become holy ground. Beloved, chosen one. Heaven has not forgotten you, it has been forming you. When God isolates, he is incubating glory. You are almost ready to emerge, and when you do, nothing will look the same again. Before this message ends, seal it with a prophetic act. Comment 888 below. This number represents resurrection, new beginnings, and the completion of refining seasons. When you type it, you declare, "I accept the separation. I trust the process. I am ready for my revealing." Let the heavens witness your faith. You are not lost. You are hidden in purpose. When you comment 8888, you're not just typing numbers, you're declaring that what seemed buried will rise again. It is your agreement with heaven's timing, your acceptance of rebirth, your public sign that you've embraced transformation over visibility, refinement over recognition. Beloved chosen one, heaven is calling your name again. The refining fire has finished its quiet work, and now the trumpet of destiny begins to sound. This is your recruitment moment, the time when heaven extends a hand and asks, "Will you rise?" Every generation has a chosen few who carry light through the storm. You are one of them. Heaven doesn't draft the popular or the perfect. It chooses the willing. And even if you don't feel ready, the fact that you're still here means you've already been approved. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 58. Therefore, my beloved brothers and sisters, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. You've been trained by trials, shaped by solitude, and seasoned by surrender. Every hardship was a classroom. Every tear watered the soil of your calling. The pain you survived wasn't wasted. It was prophetic preparation. Heaven knew that one day you would hear this very message and understand why it all had to happen. Now the summons goes forth, rise, warrior. The battlefield may not look like swords and shields. It looks like classrooms, hospitals, families, workplaces, and digital screens. The war is not for land, it's for hearts. And heaven needs those who will carry its light into the cracks of a weary world. You may think, I have nothing to give, but that's not true. Your story is oil. Your pain is the torch that will ignite hope in others. When you speak, even quietly, heaven echoes through your words. You are the living evidence that grace still wins. Look around, the world is loud with distraction. Many scroll endlessly, numb to purpose, hungry for meaning. And then you appear, not as a preacher on a stage, but as a voice carrying truth through the noise. That's why heaven needs you online, in your city, in your sphere of influence. You're not just a follower, you're an ambassador. The divine army isn't built in temples anymore. It's built in hearts that say yes. When you share light, you join that army. When you show compassion, you become heaven's hands. When you forgive, you wage silent war against bitterness. You've been wondering, what can I even do? Start small. Speak life. Refuse gossip. Encourage the one who's on the edge. Send a message to someone who needs hope. And when you find something that awakens your spirit, share it. Let others taste the same awakening. If this message is stirring your heart, don't let it end with you. Share it the way a lighthouse shares its beam, with quiet consistency. Not shouting, just shining. Someone's soul may depend on your courage to press share. And if this word has been watering your dry places, consider pouring back. When you donate, you're not fueling a brand, you're fueling a movement. You're planting into good soil that keeps producing light in a world drenched in noise. Every seed you sow becomes part of heaven's harvest. So I ask, not with pressure, but with purpose, if this message has ministered to you, let your heart respond. Like it as a small act of agreement, a digital amen. Share it as a seed of obedience. Subscribe to stay connected to the flow that keeps your spirit strong. Every action becomes a ripple that heaven multiplies in unseen ways. Your simple yes is how revival begins. You may think it's just a button, just a click, but in heaven's ledger, it's counted as partnership. You're helping truth travel farther than the enemy's lies. Beloved, the harvest is plenty, but the workers are few. You were never called to sit quietly at the edges. You were meant to step into the field, even if your hands still tremble. The angels don't wait for perfection. They move with obedience. If you've been feeling that tug in your chest, that quiet knowing that says, there's more for me, then know this: you're hearing heaven's recruitment call. The same God who transformed Saul into Paul is now transforming you from survivor to soldier. You don't have to be eloquent. You don't have to have it all together. Just bring your yes, bring your willingness, bring your story. Heaven will do the rest. Picture this: a torch being passed through the ages, from Moses to Joshua, from Deborah to Esther, from Paul to you. It burns with the same flame, The same purpose to carry light wherever darkness tries to reign. That torch is now in your hands. Lift it high. Let your life preach louder than your lips. I'll be the kind of believer who doesn't need applause, only assignment. You are no longer a bystander. You are enlisted. Your voice is a trumpet. Your obedience is the sound of war in the spirit. Rise now. Chosen warrior, the battlefield awaits. Heaven is calling, and this time you are ready to answer. Let your yes echo through every action you're sharing, you're giving. Your connection, each one becomes a living declaration that you belong to the light. Chosen one, now that heaven has called you into the field, there is another command, a quiet one, yet more powerful than you can imagine. This command is simple but sacred. Capture your thoughts. Heaven says, before you conquer the world around you, conquer the world within you. The greatest wars are not fought with swords, but with sentences whispered inside your mind. Every battle begins with a thought. Every victory does too. The apostle reminds us in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 5. We take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. That is your new instruction. Capture. Not everything that enters your mind deserves to stay there. Some thoughts are seeds of heaven, others are whispers of distraction. Every thought is a visitor. The question is, which ones will you let settle and build a home? You've felt it before, the spiral of doubt, the sudden rush of anxiety, the invisible weight that tightens your chest. It all begins with one loose, unguarded thought. One moment of agreement with a lie. The enemy doesn't need a sword to wound you. He just needs permission to plant an idea. That's why heaven now says, capture it. When fear comes, don't nurture it, arrest it. When self-hate whispers, don't reason with it, bind it. When temptation knocks, don't entertain it, close the door. You have authority over what stays in your mind. The same spirit that raised Jesus from the dead lives in you. He gives you power to choose which thoughts live and which die. So right now, I want you to practice. Close your eyes for a moment. Notice the loudest thought in your mind. Maybe it's guilt. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's, I'm not enough. Whatever it is, imagine yourself reaching out and grabbing it. Capture it. Hold it still before heaven's light. Now ask, does this thought sound like God? If it doesn't, release it. You are not obligated to believe every idea that walks through your mind. Heaven trains warriors to think like victors, not victims. That is your next phase of growth, to learn how to master the battlefield within. Every day, thoughts will try to define you. Some will come dressed in truth but carry poison. Others will come gentle but heavy. Yet once you learn to capture them, you reclaim your peace. Beloved, your mind is a sacred battlefield. Guard it. What you allow inside will either build altars or prisons. Heaven built you with the ability to choose your focus, because focus decides the future. So here is your divine practice. Whenever a thought enters, test it. Ask, does this lead me to peace or to panic? Does it align with God's voice or my wounds? If it brings confusion, capture it. If it brings fear, cast it out. Remember, the enemy cannot read your mind, but he can suggest. And suggestion becomes stronghold if you agree. That's why this practice is not optional. It's survival. The same way a soldier never leaves a weapon unattended, you must never leave your mind unguarded. Because thoughts left unattended grow into beliefs, and beliefs shape reality. Chosen one, your destiny depends on what you decide to believe about yourself. Heaven already calls you chosen, redeemed, and royal. But if you keep rehearsing lies, you'll live beneath your crown. So today, heaven calls you to action. Capture your thoughts before they capture you. You might say, it's hard. Yes, it is. But every time you catch one thought and replace it with truth, You rebuild the architecture of your mind. Piece by piece, peace returns. This is not just spiritual talk, it's transformation. Each captured thought becomes a victory. Each surrendered fear becomes a weapon forged for light. You are literally rewiring your spirit to think like heaven. Now breathe. Let that truth sink in. The chaos inside you is not permanent, it's trainable. You have the authority to shape your inner world. When you wake tomorrow, begin your day with this prayer: Lord, help me see what doesn't belong. Then listen. The Spirit will show you what to release. Keep a journal if you must. Write down the thoughts that fight you. Name them. Expose them. Then replace them with words of life. This is how spiritual warriors train: in silence, in honesty, in surrender. Remember this: every stronghold begins as a thought unchallenged, but every breakthrough begins as a thought redeemed. Beloved, your mind is not your enemy, it's your greatest instrument. When tuned to heaven's frequency, it becomes the place where miracles begin. So, good chosen one, your instruction for today is simple but powerful. Capture one thought. Just one. Don't try to fix everything, just catch one lie, one worry, one old memory that hurts. Bring it to the light. Let God rewrite it. This is how you reclaim control of your destiny, one thought at a time. Heaven doesn't need perfection from you, only participation. Now take a deep breath and whisper, I will capture and renew. Let that be your act of obedience today. Chosen one. Heaven is moving quietly now. The light that once blazed like fire has turned gentle, steady, deep, deliberate. You can feel it. Something within you is awakening, an unseen mantle being laid upon your shoulders. This is not a moment of noise or motion. This is the silent transfer of authority. There are seasons when God speaks through storms, and there are seasons when He speaks through stillness. What you are experiencing now is the latter. The silence you once feared has become the holy chamber where strength is reborn. You have passed through the valley, you have learned to stop, to listen, to capture every thought, and now heaven marks you for impact. The ancient words recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 12, declare, and after the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. That whisper is what you hear now, not with your ears, but with your spirit. It doesn't shout, it settles. It doesn't demand, it invites. It says, you are ready. You have walked through fire and not been consumed. You have endured isolation and not lost faith. You have faced darkness and chosen light. These are not small things. They are the signs that your mantle has matured. In the days to come, you will sense it more clearly. The same hands that once shielded you in hiddenness are now placing a divine covering upon you. It is not an external garment, it is an inward grace. The mantle of endurance, the mantle of discernment, the mantle of quiet power. When God clothes someone with authority, it is never flashy. True anointing rarely announces itself. It moves like fragrance, subtle, undeniable, transforming everything it touches. You will begin to notice how your words carry new weight, how peace follows you into rooms, how people begin to find calm simply by being near you. This is not charisma, it is consecration. Heaven trusts you now with influence because you no longer crave it. That is the sign of maturity. The mantle only rests safely on shoulders that have learned to bow. Remember, power without purity corrupts. That's why God took so long to refine you. He wasn't punishing you. He was preparing you to handle what others mishandled. Do not rush this stage. You don't have to prove your anointing to anyone. Those who are meant to recognize it will feel it. Your authority will not come from titles or positions, it will flow from alignment. You have learned to move with heaven's rhythm, to speak only when prompted, to stand still when others panic. That's what makes you dangerous to darkness. From this day forward, you will operate differently. You will see differently. The things that once provoked you will no longer move you. You will discern the unseen motives behind words and actions. You will sense the atmosphere of a place and shift it with peace alone. You are not who you were at the beginning of this journey. You are no longer trying to be noticed, you are simply being light. The mantle you carry does not need applause. It only requires stewardship. Handle it with reverence. Carry it with humility. You will feel days when the weight of calling presses heavily upon your chest. When that happens, remember the mantle is both burden and blessing. It reminds you that grace is not cheap, it costs surrender. Every step you take now must be measured with wisdom. Every word must be seasoned with truth. Heaven has given you something sacred. Guard it, feed it, protect it from the noise of comparison. Your calling is not a competition, it's a covenant. There will be moments when others misunderstand you. That's the cost of carrying what they cannot see. Don't defend yourself, God will. The same voice that whispered in your wilderness will speak for you in public. And when people begin to notice the glow around you, stay low. The higher the mantle lifts you, the deeper your humility must anchor you. Let gratitude become your language and service your response. Chosen one, this is your quiet coronation. No trumpet sounds, no crowd gathers, yet all of heaven is watching. The Father smiles, not because you are perfect, but because you are yielded. You carry what few are willing to endure to receive a mantle born of surrender, not ambition. It will lead you into places you never planned, connect you to people you never expected, and equip you for impact beyond your imagination. Rest in this. You don't need to do anything today. Just breathe in the awareness that heaven trusts you now. The mantle has been placed. The assignment has begun. Heaven wraps you in quiet authority. Move softly, speak wisely, love deeply. The mantle you carry is invisible to many but undeniable to those destined to be transformed through your obedience. Chosen one, heaven has brought you through silence and solitude, through surrender and transformation. You have received your mantle, and now heaven whispers the next command: enter covenant. This is not about religion, this is about agreement. When God makes covenant with someone, He doesn't just bless them, He partners with them. He links His promise to their obedience and His power to their surrender. You are being invited into that holy partnership now. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 9. Know therefore that the Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping His covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love Him and keep His commandments. Covenant is not a transaction, it's transformation. It means you stop treating your faith like an occasional feeling and start treating it as an eternal bond. It means you stop chasing moments with God and start living as His dwelling place. You see, heaven doesn't want weekend visitors, it wants permanent residents. God has been chasing your yes, not your perfection. Every time you delayed obedience, heaven waited patiently. Every time you drifted, mercy kept the door open. But now, heaven asks for something deeper, not emotion, not excitement, but commitment. This covenant is not sealed with words, it's sealed with consistency. You prove your love not through promises, but through patterns. It's how you respond when no one is watching, how you stay faithful when nothing feels easy. Beloved, God isn't asking for your performance. He's asking for your partnership. He doesn't want you to impress him. He wants you to include him. When you wake, speak to him. When you eat, thank him. When you're afraid, invite him into the fear, and when you succeed, lay the crown at his feet. This is how covenant becomes real, when the sacred invades the ordinary. When prayer becomes breathing and obedience becomes instinct. You may wonder, but what if I fail? You will. Everyone does. The covenant isn't voided by failure, it's strengthened by returning. Covenant people fall, but they never stay down. They know the way back home. You don't keep covenant by being flawless, you keep it by being faithful. Heaven never demanded perfection. It only asked for pursuit. Look back on your journey. See how every heartbreak, every delay, every closed door was shaping you for this vow. God didn't bring you this far to observe from the sidelines. He brought you here to stand as one who says, I'm not just believing, I'm belonging. You belong to a kingdom that cannot be shaken. When you enter covenant, you come under heaven's covering. That means storms may hit, but they cannot destroy. Weapons may form, but they cannot prosper. You walk under divine insurance, the kind that never expires. Beloved chosen one, your part in this covenant is simple: remain and stay close, abide. Let your heart be an altar where fire never goes out, even when the world grows cold. Let your worship burn quietly. There will be seasons when covenant costs you comfort. You'll lose some connections, some opportunities, even some opinions of others. But heaven will replace what you release. The reward of covenant is not always visible. It's often peace, clarity, and spiritual authority. You will notice that as you walk in covenant, distractions lose their pull. Your heart becomes anchored. Your prayers become sharper. You begin to sense heaven's timing and move in sync with divine rhythm. So now, chosen one, heaven extends the invitation. Will you commit fully, not halfway, not temporarily fully? This is your divine yes. If you feel this word stirring in your chest, take a breath and seal it, not with emotion, but with decision. Whisper this truth: I choose to stay. That's the sound heaven recognizes as covenant. You are stepping into something unbreakable now. Angels record it. The heavens witness it. The earth will soon see its fruit. And if this word roots deeply in you, don't let it fade. Like this message is your silent amen, a simple gesture that says, I agree with heaven. Share it the way a river carries water forward. Let the truth flow beyond you. Someone's faith may depend on your obedience to release it. Subscribe if your spirit longs to keep walking in this flow of revelation. It isn't about numbers. It's about staying connected to the stream that keeps your fire alive. Covenant is the birthplace of miracles because it binds faith to faithfulness. Once you agree, nothing stays the same. This moment isn't about goosebumps, it's about grounding. You are crossing from visitation to habitation, from calling to covenant. And when the silence comes again, remember, silence is not absence. It's the sound of God trusting you to remain. You have been refined, called, anointed, and now sealed. Comment, I stay here. Write it as your vow, not to me, but to heaven itself. It's your declaration that no matter what shifts, no matter who leaves, you remain anchored in divine agreement. When you comment those words, you are etching your yes into eternity, quiet, steady, unbreakable. Chosen one. Heaven is inviting you into something different today. Not warfare, not words, not movement, but stillness, the kind of stillness that heals timelines, the kind that makes heaven lean close and listen. This is not a pause. This is a doorway. When you step into stillness, you step into the sacred. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, we are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 46, verse 10, Be still and know that I am God. You've been running long enough. You've been pushing, proving, trying to make things happen by strength alone. But heaven whispers now, stop striving. Sit with me. The holy moment begins not when you start doing, but when you stop resisting. Stillness is not idleness. It is agreement. It is your soul saying, I trust you more than my effort. When you are still, you don't lose time, you align with eternity. You stop chasing the clock and start moving with divine rhythm. Heaven knows how heavy your mind has been. You've carried too many voices, too many fears, too many expectations. That's why the Spirit calls you now not to shout, not to fix, but to rest. This is not escape from reality, it's an encounter with truth. So right here, I want you to practice. Put everything down. Let your shoulders relax. Let your breath slow. If you can, close your eyes. For 30 seconds, do nothing. Let heaven fill the silence. Let your heart remember what peace sounds like. This stillness is holy ground. In this space, angels move without noise. In this pause, the Father rewrites your fears into faith. Every heartbeat becomes worship. Every breath becomes prayer. You are not trying to find God, He is already here. You have thought that power comes from motion, but heaven said power comes from presence. Every miracle begins with stillness. Before Moses raised his staff, he stood in awe before the burning bush. Before Elijah called down fire, he bowed low to the ground. Before Jesus spoke peace to the storm, he slept through it. Stillness has always been the secret of divine strength. So now, chosen one, release the rush. Let the noise drain out. You don't have to fill this moment with words. Silence is the most powerful prayer when your heart is honest. When you learn to be still, you begin to recognize God's voice in everything, the wind, the quiet, even your own heartbeat. You begin to sense direction without striving, guidance without guessing. Stillness sharpens your discernment. Many confuse stillness with stagnation, but they are not the same. Stagnation is lifeless. Stillness is alive. When you enter stillness, you're not doing nothing, you're letting heaven do everything. There are battles you've been fighting that no longer need your hands, only your surrender. Stillness is warfare in disguise. When you stop moving out of panic, you give space for God to move with precision. This is why the enemy attacks your peace so violently. He knows that a still soul is a dangerous one. When you're still, you remember who you are. You remember who He is. You stop reacting and you start reigning. So today, heaven gives you a sacred instruction: practice stillness daily. Don't wait for quiet places, create them. Before you touch your phone in the morning, sit still. Before you make a decision, breathe and listen. Before you speak, pause and discern. These small moments open great doors. You will notice the change. Anxiety will lose its grip. Confusion will lift. The Spirit will begin to whisper ideas, instructions, even comfort you didn't know you needed. You will walk into chaos carrying calm. Stillness is the training ground for authority. If you can rule your inner world, the outer world must bow. Every time you choose peace over panic, you are practicing kingship. Every quiet moment becomes a coronation. Chosen one, you don't need to earn this moment. You simply receive it. This is your invitation to live differently, to no longer be driven by pressure, but led by presence. Take a breath. Feel the weight of divine nearness. Heaven is not far, it's in this stillness. This is the soundless song of surrender, the melody that only quiet hearts can hear. You are not weak for resting. You are wise. You are learning heaven's rhythm. Wait, listen, then move. The world calls it delay, but heaven calls it preparation. When the storm rises again, remember this practice. Don't rush to fix it. Step into the calm within you. Let stillness be your first weapon, not your last resort. For those who learn to be still never lose direction. Even in chaos, they walk in order. Even in darkness, they shine without fear. Beloved, this is not just a spiritual exercise, it's a lifestyle. Stillness is how you carry peace into every season. It's how you remind your soul that God is bigger than anything demanding your attention. So as this message closes, do not hurry away. Sit a little longer. Let silence finish what sound cannot. Let peace lead you into the next moment. Chosen one, you have learned to pause, to listen, to breathe again. Now heaven opens a new chapter, action born from peace, generosity born from gratitude. This is the moment where what was planted in secret begins to pour outward like rivers finding the sea. The apostle reminds us in the book of Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. You've walked through the refining fire, and what remains is gold, but gold, when hoarded, tarnishes. Gold, when shared, reflects light. Heaven has blessed you not just to keep, but to release. The anointing was never meant to stay in one vessel, it was designed to overflow. So now the Spirit invites you to become a channel. Everything you've received, the wisdom, the comfort, the revelation is meant to flow through you. When you share, you are not losing something, you are multiplying it. Truth grows stronger in motion, just as light expands when reflected. Think of your story as a candle. If you keep it under a bowl, it suffocates. But when you lift it high, others see their path through your flame. That's why heaven asks you, let your light travel. Let it speak beyond your own screen, your own voice, your own time. When you like this message, it's not about an algorithm, it's about agreement. It's your silent amen, your way of saying, yes, this word lives in me. That single tap is a spark. Together, thousands of sparks can light a world gone dim. When you share, imagine tossing a seed into unseen soil. You may never see where it lands, but heaven tracks every seed. Someone drowning in silence might breathe again because you let truth travel through you. And when you subscribe, see it not as joining a channel, but as anchoring yourself to a well. Every message that flows here is a drop of water for thirsty souls, including yours. Staying connected keeps the stream of strength and revelation flowing to you and through you. Now, there is a sacred act that goes even deeper to sow. When you donate, you are not paying for inspiration, you are planting for generations. You are helping build altars in places you may never visit, lifting voices you may never meet. Each gift becomes a bridge heaven walks across to reach another heart. Give not from pressure, but from presence. Give the way rain gives to dry earth, quietly, naturally, with purpose. Heaven never forgets a seed sown in faith. The reward is not always visible coins. Sometimes it comes as peace that won't shake, as favor that finds you without explanation. Chosen one, generosity is the fragrance of those who have been healed. You give not because you have much, but because you understand the source never runs dry. Look around, every movement of light you see began with someone's simple yes. Someone shared when they could have scrolled past. Someone gave when it felt too small to matter. Every ripple began with one obedient heart. You are that heart now. Heaven is writing through your hands, sending truth through your clicks and kindness through your giving. Each action, however small, becomes a sermon without words. So let this be your moment of overflow. If this message spoke to you, let your gratitude move. Like it as your whisper of agreement. Share it as your testimony in motion. Subscribe to keep walking with this family of light. So if you feel led, let generosity become worship. You are not funding a voice. You are fueling a vision, one that keeps reaching souls who think heaven forgot them. You become part of that reach. You become part of that miracle. Beloved, you were never called to hold the light only for yourself. You are called to become a mirror, reflecting heaven's goodness into corners still covered in shadow. So breathe, lift your eyes, and let your hands move from gratitude. You're not just engaging with a message, you're answering heaven's invitation to keep the fire burning. Come on, I pour out. Write it as your personal vow. It means, I won't hoard what heaven gave me. I will give freely, love boldly, and shine consistently. Your words become the oil that keeps this flame alive. Heaven measures greatness not by titles but by tenderness. Every time you choose compassion over comfort, you mirror the heart of God. Keep sowing love quietly. Unseen kindness is the currency of eternity, and heaven always repays in peace. The journey doesn't stop here, it deepens. Tomorrow will bring new assignments, new people to lift, new hearts to heal. Keep your light steady, your faith simple, and your hands open. Heaven's river flows through those who keep giving freely. Beloved, chosen one. As this message fades into quiet, let peace linger a little longer. You have walked through words that were not just meant to inspire, but to awaken. This wasn't simply a story, it was a mirror, showing you the reflection heaven has always seen. You were never scrolling aimlessly. You were being led. Every line you heard was timed, crafted, and placed before you for a reason. Perhaps you didn't expect to be found here, but destiny has a way of finding those who are ready. Let the truth of what you've heard settle softly within you. You are not forgotten, not overlooked, not late. You are right where you need to be, standing on sacred ground disguised as ordinary life. Take these words with you. Don't rush back into noise. Sit for a while longer in the calm that's wrapping around you right now. Let stillness become your strength, kindness your weapon, peace your message. Because the world doesn't only need louder voices, it needs steadier hearts. Yours can be one of them. When you step out from this moment, look around with fresh eyes. The people you meet, the words you speak, the choices you make, all of them are small chances to carry this light forward. You don't need a stage to change the world. Sometimes one quiet, faithful heart can shift an entire atmosphere. Let yours be that heart. So as this video closes, remember, every ending with God is only a doorway to another beginning. Keep walking in grace, keep choosing light, and keep becoming everything heaven already knows you are. You are chosen. You are equipped, you are loved, and this is only the beginning.